Good morning, everybody. As she said, my name's James Miller. I'm from the Hamilton County Public Safety Communications Center. We are your 911 center for the county. We're also your dispatch staff for the county. My official job title is the Radio Systems Administrator. So I am responsible for the daily maintenance and upkeep of all of the radio towers that your radios affiliate with. Same thing for the police and fire folks. So a little busy, got a lot on my plate, and we do thank you for your time today because we do have a growing problem with false emergency alarms being activated on the system. So we're going to just touch base with you briefly today and explain the emergency alarm system and when it should be used. So inside all of your buses, you're going to have a radio that looks like this. The biggest thing to remember is this big giant knob right here is how you turn the radio volume up and down, as well as how you turn the radio off. Okay. There's also the knob to the right allows you to scroll through your talk groups, otherwise known as channels. So you have Transportation 1, Transportation 2, I believe you guys use one? Okay, so there's several different talk groups or channels inside the radio. Generally, you guys will stay on Transportation 1 unless you're directed to turn elsewhere, okay? So with that said, a little more information. Again, your volume knob, zone up and scan. Those will inadvertently get hit from time to time with either a binder falling on it or your elbow might bump it and you just don't realize it. If your display says anything other than A, Transportation 1, you need to get with your transportation department. They will help you get back to where you need to be. Okay? One other item of note, this little orange button right up here is not the power button. Contrary to popular belief, it is not your power button, okay? That does the same thing as picking up your cell phone and calling 911, okay? That gives you the highest priority on our radio system. That means you take priority over police officers, over firefighters, over every other person on our network when you push that button, okay? This should only be used if you are going to pick up your cell phone and call us on 911 anyways. Okay. This just now gives you a direct link to talk to the dispatch staff and relay the information about the emergency that you're experiencing. Your bus is overheating, a child's having a medical emergency, you see a creeper running around the bus stops and you need to report that to the law enforcement. Press your button, talk to us, let us handle it. Okay. Our dispatch staff will talk to you. They will probably call you by the bus number that they see. Every radio on our system has a caller ID, so our dispatch staff will be able to see that and be able to call back to you. Important item of note, if you accidentally push the button, don't not talk to us, okay? If you do not answer our staff, that means now we've got to ask the Carmel Police Department to go track you down and make sure that you're not getting beat up by a kid or your bus is having a problem or something of that nature, okay? If we understand accidents happen, they happen all the time. It happens with our police folks, it happens with our fire folks. But the worst thing that you can do is not answer us if that button gets pushed, okay? So again, use it if you're going to pick up your cell phone to report a 911 emergency. Your radio is programmed to automatically move you to a special talk group within our radio system called 911, okay? If your radio is the one that sent the emergency, your screen will say emergency, okay? Otherwise, you will never know that talk group is in the radio or available to you because it's only there if you push the button, okay? With that, there's a key point also. If you have to activate your emergency button, you have to reset it. We can't do that for you, okay? So you push the orange button for about 1 to 2 seconds. It'll transmit the emergency. It'll automatically move you to the dispatch talk group so you can talk to the 911 operators. And you give your information, you talk to them. When you're done, and they tell you that to reset your emergency button, you need to press and hold the orange button again until your radio emits a long, steady tone. As soon as you start to hear that tone, let go of the button. If you continue to hold it, what do you think happens? Send you right back into emergency status, which means you have now created an extremely loud alarm in our dispatch center and have scared the living daylights out of all of our staff, okay? Most people know the backup alarms on buses and construction equipment. You know how loud those are? That same type of alarm is what goes off in our dispatch center every time that emergency button gets hit. No matter the hour of the day, doesn't matter who pushed their button, whether you're a police officer, a firefighter, or a school bus, it doesn't matter. That loud noise is designed to get our staff's attention and to respond to you promptly. Okay? So with that being said, to reset it, make sure that you press and hold the orange button and let it reset. Turning your radio off does not reset the alarm. Okay? As a matter of fact, your radio is programmed to stay alive or stay turned on, even if you turn the knob off when you've activated an emergency. That is a safety feature that we've put into it for you. Okay? My radio here from the department, same way. If I push my button and activate it, if I turn the radio off, I'm still going to be online and be able to transmit my traffic. Okay? So we want you to use the buttons. We want you to be aware of what they're there for, but we also need you to understand that they truly are only meant for emergencies. Okay? Because it does give you the highest priority on our network, and if the network's busy, you can inadvertently kick a police officer off the radio system or a firefighter off the radio system because you've pushed the button thinking it was the power button. Okay? So very important, but they are a very handy feature that we make available to you to alert us that you have a medical emergency or a problem. Okay? Your guys' safety, the safety of the children and the communities that you serve is the highest priority for us in the comm center. So that's all I've got at this point. I will entertain just a few questions before I turn it back over, and I've got one in the back. Yes, sir.
A little bit more. Hang on one second, Gary.
Drivers are aware of this, but there is a delay in the transmission from the time you key up to the time you are talking to base or anybody else. I continue to encourage new drivers, once you key up, give an extra hesitation, extra breath, 1 to 2 seconds before you start transmitting, because part of your message will get cut off, and then transportation has to come back and ask you what your transmission was. Just give it an extra second or two and don't start talking as soon as you key up.
Yes, so very good point. So for those of you that may not have heard that, there is a slight delay within the radio system because it is a digital network. You need to push, pause, then talk, PPT. Okay, push, pause, talk. Give it a second. As soon as you key up, give it a second, then transmit your message. Let go of the button. Okay, I have personally heard it on your guys' some of your talk groups where you guys are getting yourself, we call it clipping. You're getting clipped off at the first part of your message, so the people are asking you to constantly repeat your message. Push, pause, and talk. I was also asked to cover just briefly some of the verbiage that you might hear from our dispatch center if you do activate your emergency button. Our dispatch staff will key back up on the radio and say, bus 112, signal 52. Or they may say, bus 112, you're in emergency status. Okay? At that point, you key back up and tell us what the problem is. Or, if it was an accident, this is bus 112, I apologize, accidental. They should tell you to reset your emergency button. Okay? Accidents happen, we get it. No harm, no foul. Just reset your button and go back to what you were doing. Okay? The signal code that I just put out, understand that our dispatch staff do deal with police and fire folks. If anything that you take away from here is try to remember signal 52. A lot of our staff have been dispatching for 15 plus years, so those codes are ingrained into their mind. Signal 52 is the same thing as telling you that your radio is in emergency status. Okay? Signal 52 means your radio has transmitted an emergency. Do you have a problem? Okay? Any other questions, comments? Yes, ma'am.
When you're on a field trip and you're out of range and you can't use transportation one, you have to change channels. And how can you go over how you do that?
Marsha, I can address that.
It's a little more detailed on how to do that. But there are talk groups and channels within your radios that if you are traveling outside of the range of our system that you can switch to. I will add an asterisk to that statement. If you switch to that channel and you hear other people talking on it, you need to abandon that channel and find a different one. Please do not talk on that channel if you hear somebody else talking on it. Because these are nationwide frequencies, and you may inadvertently step into an emergency that's taking place in somebody else's jurisdiction. So, any other questions? Yes, sir.
You know, in this day and age with terrorism and whatever, what if we activate it and we don't want you to?
If
I mean, we activate it, but we don't want you to acknowledge. We want you to send somebody.
Sure. So the question is in light of the terrorism issues that we have in this country, you guys have an issue on the bus and you need to discreetly alert dispatch. You can do that. You won't answer us. However, understand that we're not going to be able to exactly pinpoint where you are. We are going to have to contact the transportation office and tell them bus 112 is activated as emergency button. Where is that route? And then we will send the Carmel Police Department to trace back through that route.
We're still going to say something.
We're still going to try to contact you.
We're still going to hear it. And
Correct.
Still going to get upset and all that.
You could discreetly reach over and hit the emergency button and just turn the volume down on the radio. Don't turn it off, but just turn the volume down. That way the dispatcher coming back won't be so loud. So you could still discreetly do that.
But if I turn it off,
If you push the emergency button,
if I push the emergency button and then I turn the radio off, would I still be able to hear you talking?
no, it'll be a minimum volume level.
Okay.
So it's very, very, very low volume level, but there is still just a little bit of audio that will come through. It's not loud, but there's still some. Yes, ma'am.
Will you still be able to hear us? So if there was, let's say, a terrorist on the bus.
Correct.
You've activated the button, and then he says, turn that off.
If you reach over and turn it off,
Hear us?
we won't hear you unless you key up the microphone. Okay?
We'll never hear unless you key up the microphone. That emergency button doesn't make it an instant two-way. You still have to key up.
Yep. We at least are alerted that you have a problem, but if you're not keying up the mic, we can't hear what type of problem you're having. So while it does activate, we still need you to push the button. Yes?
I thought we had GPS.
The law enforcement folks have GPS, but the public works folks do not have GPS on their radios. So, yes, ma'am.
Every time we're on the radio, everybody can hear us, correct?
Correct.
So we don't use the radio unless it's absolutely necessary, correct?
That is a departmental policy. My suggestion is if you don't have something pertinent or you're not being asked to respond, just stay back and listen. Yes, sir.
With the emergency situation you're talking about, if you have the ability, because you may not, but to hit the button and then just hold down, like for instance, if you have your microphone and you've got a terrorist, can you hold down and then they can't, we can't hear you.
Correct.
But you would be able to hear everything that's going on.
Correct. So the question is if you have somebody that's on your bus causing a disturbance that should not be on your bus, could you hit the emergency button and then press and hold the mic while you're dealing with that person? Yes, you can. We will hear everything that is going on as long as you're holding that mic. We will not be able to answer you, and you will not be able to hear us as long as you are holding that microphone. However, all of that traffic is recorded. It does come back into the center, and it is recorded and logged. So we'll be able to hear what kind of disturbance you have going on. My suggestion to you is if that's the case, bus number, your location, and your immediate problem. Okay?
Like try to discreetly get that.
As any way possible. If you are having a problem on your bus and it's an aggressive person like that, bus number, location, and your problem. Get it to us as fast as you can.
Okay, anybody else got anything else? We need to kind of wrap
Yeah,
up.
real quick, does that button beyond the range of Carmel? What happens?
If you are out, so the question was, does that button work outside of the city of Carmel? Yes and no. If you are within range of the Hamilton County radio system, anywhere within Hamilton County or the surrounding counties, that emergency button will still work. But if you travel outside of the range of our signal coverage, that emergency button will not function.
What's the range?
The official range is 2 miles outside of Hamilton County. That's the official range. However, it has been my experience that you can be about halfway north of Kokomo and still be able to get to the system, and be on the south side of Indianapolis and still be able to get into our system. So the range is there, but officially 2 miles. So I thank you all for your time. Thank you all for your service to the community, and thank you.